Namaskar and welcome to another instalment of Mike's Kitchen Odyssey. It's Greek Easter today, so what I thought I'd do for you is something quintessentially Greek that will go with lamb if you're cooking lamb today, but it's also something fantastic with grilled meats or just by itself with some bread. I want to show you today an authentic tzatziki. Now, some of the commercially available ones here in the UK are absolute abominations and we want to avoid that. But it's really dead easy to make at home. Even I can do it, so it's got to be easy for you guys. So I'm just going to show you that. It's dead easy, always helped along by this. So, for those that don't know, it's a kind of a dip accompaniment based on yogurt and cucumber with garlic and olive oil and some white wine vinegar through it. So we're just going to go through that today. Really, really simple. So we'll start with a little bowl, and what we're going to do is with a little bit of minced garlic. Now you can mince it yourself using the hand presses, or if you want you can use the garlic that comes in a tube. It really doesn't matter, but I'm using about a teaspoon today, and this will do sort of a really good one portion of tzatziki. Scale it up as you do more. So we've got the garlic that goes in there. Next we want classic Greek splash of white wine vinegar, and it really is a splash at this stage. So it's probably again around about the kind of teaspoon level. And then also we want to go with some fantastic Greek olive oil. Again, a splash, maybe a splash and a bit. Not very accurate measurements. So with that in our bowl, we're going to give it a good stir and get that all mixed up together. Now, what we want to do is create a base that we can then add our yogurt into. So before we do it, adding anything more, we're going to go with a pinch of salt in there as well. Now, a guy I met who ran a beautiful taverna in Kefalonia also liked to add white pepper to his, just for that little extra kind of spice through it, but we're going to stick with the basic one here. So we've got salt in through there. Then next, we want to take our shop-bought Greek yogurt. Use the full fat stuff. It really does make a difference in the taste, and what we're going to do is do this again by eye. So we're using about a quarter of a cucumber, so I'm going to use about that much of our Greek yogurt to start with. Now what you don't want to do is put too much in there, because if you haven't done enough cucumber then it's going to be really runny and a horrible consistency. You can always add more yogurt afterwards, but we're just going to start with that kind of big tablespoonful. Next, of course, is we want to prep our cucumber. So for that we are going to take a cucumber. I've got about half there, but we're not going to use all of that, and our hand grater. Now there is a technique to this. Don't grate it straight down in this angle. What you want to do is to grate it at an angle where you can create longer strips. So as we do this, now some people like to peel the cucumber before they grate it, and that's perfectly acceptable. You don't have to do it accurately. You just take some of the skin off. I'm quite happy leaving a lot of the skin on. We're not going to use all of that skin, as you'll see when we finish that grating that you can see there. We've still got quite a lot left. Not a problem, it's not all gone in, but I think it adds a little bit extra to the texture and to the flavour. So what we've got is now our nice big pile of grated cucumber. Now cucumber, as we know, has huge amounts of water in it, and we want to get rid of as much of that as we can. Now there is a trick around not having to give it such a squeeze, and that's if you're using a Greek yogurt which you've strained again. I personally like a thick tzatziki, so I often will strain the commercially bought yogurt so it's even thicker. What that does mean is that the cucumber that you're using, you don't actually have to be quite as diligent in straining. We're going to do it the proper way, where you strain all of it out, but actually if you're just pressing it by hand, you give it a really good go, that's going to be perfectly acceptable if you're using a thicker yogurt. So into a tea towel lined bowl we put our cucumber, and literally it's a matter of gathering up. You can use this with like a cotton cloth, a muslin cloth, cheesecloth, something like that, and basically you give it a good old squeeze to get as much of that liquid out as you can. There you go. Again, imagine throttling somebody you really want to. No problem at all there. So there we now have our nice ball of squeezed cucumber. There's a little bit of moisture in there. it's not a great drama, but you just want the majority out. You don't want that kind of wet consistency. Now, we've got our bowl with our yogurt, and we've now got the cucumber to add in. So literally, you just pile it in there, and then take a fresh spoon and give it a good stir. Now, you've got to be careful with this. If you over stir it, you will emulsify your tzatziki, and that is not the kind of consistency you're looking for. It goes horrible. So just have a nice delicate mix around, and this gives you now the opportunity to see if you need to add any more yogurt to create the kind of mix and consistency that you want. We're absolutely nearly there with the first one of the eye, not bad at all. What I am going to do is just add a tiny little bit more of the yogurt into the bowl, and then just stir that through. Do not over stir it. I cannot emphasize that enough. And there we have our perfect homemade tzatziki. It's really as simple as that. Now, there are things you can do to this if you want to spice it up, but please, one thing you must not put in tzatziki is mint. I know people do this, it's an abomination. Well, okay, if you want a mint yogurt and cucumber dip, do it, fill your boots, but it's not tzatziki. If you want to put a herb through this, then a really fine chopped dill is what you should put through tzatziki. Personally, it's not a flavour I'm a great fan of, so I don't, I leave it as it is. So this is your tzatziki. Serve it up alongside grilled meats or by itself, drizzle of olive oil over the top, serve it with some bread, a nice glass of wine in the sunshine, and it's the absolute perfect accompaniment to your Easter roast lamb. So again, Galil Pascha, and have a great day. See you again.